What is going on, guys? I am the FD Guru, bringing to you guys a MLB Thursday DFS episode here of my podcast. We have a 8-game main slate for tonight in MLB, starting a little bit earlier than usual, 6:35 Eastern. Usually we see it start at like 7:05, but there's a couple of earlier games on tonight's main slate. No NBA tonight, but we get back into basketball tomorrow on Friday. So for this video, I'm going to give you guys a pitcher. I'm actually going to talk about a couple of pitchers because there's some good pitchers on this slate. 2 infield and 2 outfield value plays. And just like this video, make sure you're subscribed. And let's have a nice night. We did really well in the MLB main slate yesterday. It was a day main slate. Now we got the normal night main slate for tonight. So for pitcher, I like Charlie Morton. He's a really solid, consistent pitcher. He has been his whole career with the Rays, with the Astros, and now with the Braves. He had a great year last year, a pretty decent first start of the season against the Reds. 5 strikeouts in 5 innings, 31 fantasy points. 9,000 is a good price on him. He's a nice cash game pitcher because he hardly ever gets absolutely blown up. So he's going to get you those points. So at 9,000, he's a pretty good play. You could look at Walker Buehler. You pay an extra $1,500 for him, but for good reason. If you have the extra salary, he's got a good matchup at home against the Reds. He's the biggest favorite on tonight's slate, so Buehler's definitely not a bad spend up. I'm also looking at Alcantara of the Marlins against the Phillies. He had a great year last year. He's right around that Charlie Morton price at 9,300. He's at home. Miami is a pitcher's friendly ballpark, but the Phillies do have a good lineup, so maybe Alcantara is more of a GPP play, but he has a pretty high ceiling. We saw last year he can have some massive games and go pretty deep into the game, so I'm eyeing all of those pitchers tonight for the main slate. For the infield, Max Muncy's just too cheap. We picked him last slate, and he hit a nice late game homer, 27 fantasy points. He's a guy who draws a ton of walks, 5 walks in his last 2 games. And the Dodgers are a great team to stack here. They're one of the higher team run projected totals on the slate against the Reds and Luis Cessa. A nice lefty-righty matchup here for Muncy. 2,900, like I said, just too cheap. He should be in the mid-3,000s. He is an above-average player, and he has great pop. His price is just down because he had a little bit of a slow start to the year, but seems to be picking things back up over the last couple of games. So a nice, cheaper spend on a star-type player. Second base, this Pirates and Nationals game, believe it or not, has the second highest over-under behind the Coors Field Rockies game. Hernandez, a great spot. Both of these teams are in pretty good spots offensively. JT Brubaker of the Pirates, not a good pitcher. I forget the name of the other guy, of the Nationals pitcher. We'll see that in a second, but he's also not a good pitcher. Cesar Hernandez should be leading off tonight. And he's hitting, in front of some guys who can drive him in, like Juan Soto at 2,400. It's a nice play. Hernandez doesn't really have much power, but he's consistent. He'll get you a lot of singles. He'll score runs when he gets on. A nice little safe play at 2,400 tonight. Should definitely be leading off for the Nationals. For outfield, on the other side of things, the Pirates are facing Joan Adon of the Nationals. Like I said, this game has the second highest over-under at 9, so both offenses here are worth looking at. Brian Reynolds should be batting second tonight for the Pirates at 2,900. He is a nice value play for the Pirates. He's a guy that can really do it all. He can hit for average. He had a homer last game, or 2 games ago. And he's just, he's a guy who gets on base consistently at 2,900 in this spot. I'm definitely looking at Brian Reynolds. And then for the last play here, Mike Trout, you can never go wrong. Angels should be able to put up some runs. I'm obviously avoiding the Coors game just to talk about other players, but whenever the Rockies are playing at home, the game is always going to be worth targeting offensively, because if you've played MLB DFS in the past, which I'm assuming most of you have, the Coors game, always a high over-under. I think it's at 11 tonight, so always look at Rockies players and Cubs players for tonight in that game. But Mike Trout, a nice stud outside of the Coors game, 4,100. It really doesn't matter who's pitching. He's a guy that can really light up the slate. And, when Mike Trout has one of those beast games, you hate not having him. 4,100, not expensive enough on the best player in the league. He should be closer to 5,000. So I like this play in the outfield. That'll sum up today's video, guys. Let's get after it. Let's go with a head full of steam riding into the beginning of the weekend tomorrow. Let's have a great night tonight. Like I said, like this video and make sure you're subscribed. I do appreciate it. Until next time, I am the FD Guru, and I'm signing off. See ya.